Well, hey folks, how y'all doing? And oh man, there they are in the land of grills. We've got a challenge today. Gravity Series versus Gravity Series Char-Griller versus the Masterbuilt Gravity Series. Everybody's been asking, Tom, which one? Which one would you choose? And today, I tell you what, today's gonna be the one. So we're gonna go through a lot of things. We're gonna tear these things apart. We're gonna dive deep into it. And at the end, I'm gonna let you know my endorsement. Which one? All right, folks, so let's start off in full disclosure here. I purchased both these grills. Masterbuilt did not send me that one. Char-Griller did not send me that one. That one I've had for about a year now. It's coming up on a year. And Char-Griller I've had for a little over a week now. I've done extensive amount of cooks in a week, as many as you can in a week. And I've done a lot in the last year. Tom Horseman at YouTube, type in Char-Griller or Masterbuilt Gravity Series, and you can see all those videos. Full disclosure though, Masterbuilt did send me a hat. Last week out of the blue, I got a hat in the mail. And these people have been emailing me, just seeing how I'm doing and if I had any questions. So, like I said, neither one of them, there's no influence coming from Char-Griller and no influence, unless you consider a hat, influence from Masterbuilt. All right, I have cleaned both grills off, getting them good. If you're wondering, hey Tom, I've never seen a blue Masterbuilt. I painted that. I've done. Let's go through the mods I've done on the Masterbuilt. I've done that mod paint, the temp gauge mod. The gauge they send you has no numbers on it. Put the front shelf on. We've replaced all the gasket on there and put some pretty expensive gasket on there. On the Char-Griller so far, the only thing I've done is I've put some gasket on the door and on the top charcoal, and I've showed you how to do that. Tom Horseman at YouTube. Now, are all these mods necessary? Well, obviously painting is not necessary. Putting the new temp gauge, a lot of people have done that because we want to know more precisely what the temp is. Front shelf, not necessary. There are other models do come with a front shelf. This one comes standard with a front shelf. In my opinion, putting the better high heat on the seals there helps to control temperature while you're cooking. It also helps in the shutdown process. In my opinion, that was necessary. Putting the felt gasket on the top there to seal up that lid a little bit better also helps with the charcoal management, temperature, and with the shutdown process. So, some people are telling me that theirs are working great. You don't need it. Same thing with the Masterbuilt. My choice, my grill. One of the biggest questions I get asked, folks, is which one cooks better food? And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, folks. If you were to do a rack of ribs on there and a rack of ribs on there and mix them up and everything, you're not going to know the difference. You're not going to say, oh, yeah, this definitely came off the Masterbuilt. Or you say, no, that's definitely off the Char-Griller. No, these both do low and slow very, very nicely. And they don't both do hot and fast very nicely also. They both are using the same concept of gravity charcoal, of filling that hopper up there with charcoal, and you can layer in wood chunks in there. And then it burns down low, and there's actually a fan on the Char-Griller. You can see the fan is mounted down there, and it blows that smoke across through a baffle into the grilling surface, and it's all controlled by a controller right there, a PID controller. You set it to 225 on either one of these grills, and they do a phenomenal job of holding 225. And if you want to go up and get hot and fast and sear a steak at 650 or 700 degrees, they both do it. That's the concept that I love about these grills, is that they really, truly can do low and slow. And hot and fast is just minutes away on both these grills. All right, price. Let's just look at them. This is May of 2021. Folks, this is the Masterbuilt website. They've got 3 models. 560 is what I got. And right now they're going for $500, plus they have a bundle. The bundle includes, I believe, the rotisserie. This grill, you can get a rotisserie for it. The cover, and I think 2 bags of charcoal. That's for $500. That's 560 square inches. Both these grills, all when you see the number, that refers to how many square inches, how big it is. The 800 is sold out. That goes for $700. That actually has a front shelf, and it has a griddle that goes in there. And you can see the baffle comes out. You put this griddle in there, and it apparently gets smoking hot. I have not had the chance to cook on that. And the 1050 is their big one, so that's 1,050 square inches on the inside. That's $800. Now let's take a look at the Char-Griller. All right, Char-Griller's website, May of 2021. There it is, and they are selling these through Lowe's. $650. I got mine through another hardware store chain that sells the red ones. Here in the Midwest, it's called Menards. And I was able to pick mine up they have 11% off. So I was able to get mine for $600. All right, so if you're new to this, the charcoal goes in here. That's called the charcoal hopper. And these both, if you go through poundage, and then I believe that holds 20, that holds 16. They both can do 12 hours. And it's going to depend a lot about whether you're using charcoal, whether you're using lump. You can put a lump in here too. And you can also, here, let's take a look at the inside, because people are always saying, open the grill, show us the inside. So that's the inside of the Char-Griller here, and that's where you just dump in the charcoal. And you can see a grate down there. That's actually where things burn. And then those other two rods in there, that's where you put a lighter, and that's where you put a fire starter, and you light it, and that lights that up. There's a fan, and I talked about this. On this grill, the fan's on the outside. On this grill, the fan is actually underneath, blowing in, but they both work very, very, very well. Now, how efficient are they with the charcoal? They're not real efficient. The charcoal's always burning when it's in here, so it's not overly efficient method. But I tell you what, anytime you can fill this up and it goes 12 hours, I don't see that as being a problem. If you're looking at the cooking chamber design, you can see we got two. We got the barrel type over here, and we've got what I call the bread box right here. So on the Masterbuilt, you have like a bread box type that opens, and a very sturdy door, very well built, double insulated. You've got 3 layers of cooking. Now they only give you the cast iron rack on the bottom and one of these. These are split, and you can order other ones. I believe they're about 30, 40 bucks online. If you get one of these grills, I would highly encourage you to go ahead and order the extra set of grates for it. A lot of times what I'll like to do, and we'll talk about grease management later, but a lot of times I'll cook on these 2 racks and put a drip tray on that rack right there. Then I use the cast iron underneath there just for searing. Now on the barrel type, the Char-Griller, this one it's got 3 feet of cooking space in there. Remember, this is 980, this is 560. So, you've got that whole cast iron right there. It's enamel coated cast iron. And then you've got a top warming rack right there, but I definitely could cook on there also. So 2 different styles of cooking chambers. If you're asking me which one I prefer, I actually prefer the bread box style. I just think it's a lot cooler. I think you get a lot more, obviously get a lot more height in it. That's why they can, and if you're wondering, that's where the rotisserie goes. So in that category, I like that compared to that. All right, controllers, they both do this the same thing. On and off, and you set the temperature, and then you dial it in, and it controls the fan. That's all it's doing. Same thing here, it's just controlling the fan. The Char-Griller's got 2 probe ports, but they only give you 1 probe, and the Masterbuilt's got 4 probe ports, and they also only give you 1 probe. Now they talk about Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. They both have that capability. This one actually, I was able to hook up to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. This one, I struggled. Now, I understand that some of their later models, they've made some changes and they work better. I know there's a new firmware. I've got the second round of firmware in here, but I've got to get into Wi-Fi again, which is kind of a pain in the butt on this one. But I think they're remedying that with some of their newer models. All right, front shelves, the 560 doesn't come with one. 980 does, and Masterbuilt's defense. Their other models do have them, but for some reason they're narrower. This one has got a lot of good room on there. I don't understand why Masterbuilt, when they put those on there, I notice a lot of other, like Pit Boss does that too. They put a front shelf on it, and the thing is super narrow. So, the 1080, the 1050, and the 800 have front shelves on the Masterbuilt, whereas the 980, that comes standard. All right, let's start getting into the meat and taters here. Took the grates out. They both have, obviously, removable grates. The Masterbuilt has a 2-section, that is cast iron. The Char-Griller has 5 of them. They're porcelain coated enamel cast iron, a little bit easier to keep clean. Some people claim this works better. I think they both work just fine. And then you can see the top grates on the Masterbuilt. They're also porcelain coated enamel. Same with the top grate for the Char-Griller. On the Masterbuilt, you have a heat baffle right there. It's removable, kind of a pain in the butt. And on the, take the flashlight with me, sorry. I am but an amateur. You've got a heat diffuser, and then underneath that is the heat baffle on the Char-Griller, and we're going to take a little closer look at that. All right, that's what the heat baffle looks like after 1 year of use. There was some rust on there. Yeah, you're right. And all the drippings fall down on there. So I thought this thing was stainless steel, but I don't think it's a very high quality if it is, because there are some lower quality stainless steels that do rust. You see those two little pegs sitting out there? So why I say it's kind of a pain in the butt is you got to fit those into those like holes there and then slide it. And that's kind of a pain in the butt. That's where the heat comes out. That's your drip tray that's underneath. I line mine in aluminum foil so I can clean it up, and that's where the grease goes. My whole problem with this, and I shouldn't say I have a real problem with it, is that the grease stays right there and the heat is right there. And there have been issues with people, and I've actually had, and if you watch my channel, you know I keep my grills pretty clean. You can have a grease fire with this. So, you know, this, in my contention, this is one of the things that I hope that Masterbuilt will rethink how they do things, because my son's got one of these and he's had some pretty epic grease fires in his Masterbuilt. Let's take a look at the Char-Griller. All right, there's the heat baffle on the Char-Griller. When I took this out of the box, all I could say was, wow, because that thing is massive and it's heavy, and the whole thing is porcelain coated enamel, so rust shouldn't be an issue. It has two handles on it. Look at that, one there, and then it just lifts up. It slides over that stainless steel baffle right there, and then just sits on that ledge right there. So easy on, easy off. And then there's your heat deflector or drip tray that sits on top of that, sits on these little pegs. You know, I did a review on this grill, folks, and as I did a review on this grill, and you can see all the more details in there, but this is the way that should be. It really should. This is very nicely done. The grease on here, and I'm still working through this. So you've got these slots, and they're pretty wide. They're about, I'm going to say they're 2 inches. The grease goes down, goes in those slots. That's a pre-sloped grease trough right there that takes it over to a grease tray right there. And you know, you can see where some of it's ponding there. So you know, I did a pork butt on here, and there was grease in there. So it did work, and it's taking the grease away from a heat source. Less chance, I'm not saying you will never have a grease fire in this, but there's less of a chance of a grease fire, I believe, in this grill than there is in that grill. All right, one thing I forgot to leave out, that grease tray on the Masterbuilt, it pulls out from the back side. So it is relatively easy to clean. All right, back together. People have asked, how fast does it go? Let's say 225, you're reverse searing some steaks, you want to take it to 700. I would always go 650 on both grills, because at heat they have a tendency to overshoot a little bit, and both these grills have a safety device that shuts off the grill, I believe at 750 on both these grills. So you said 650, both these grills, 225 to 650 in less than 3 minutes. Now the difference is, remember, this grill's got the big baffle, and it's got the grease tray baffle that helps to distribute the heat a little bit more evenly. It takes a little bit longer to get that cast iron up to temp to sear. Now with this grill, you've got the heat baffles right there. So it's definitely, you can sear faster on the Masterbuilt than you can on the Char-Griller, but they both get up to temp about as fast as each other. All right, now let's get into the charcoal hopper on both these grills. The design and the principle is the same, although how they've done things are quite a bit differently. Now you're looking at those two great things. Those are your slides. You got to take those off. That opens up the air. One lets air go in through the fan. The other one lets it go in to the cooking chamber. On the Char-Griller, you've got one. The fan blows from over there across there, and they're both about the same. And it won't work without those out. And in order to snuff out the fire, you got to put those back in. As far as where the ash goes, you can see on the Char-Griller, you've got a nice big ash bucket, porcelain coated. It actually is bigger than the Char-Griller. In fact, if I were to say anything about the Char-Griller, I wish that was a bigger basket. Now, a lot of people will sometimes put wood, like a split of wood down in there on both those grills, and as the ash falls through, it'll make that wood smoke. And I have done that, and it does work. So that's pretty cool on both grills. All right, the inside of the hopper on the Masterbuilt, all that shiny black stuff, that's creosote. that if you use a really good quality like B&B charcoal or some good lump, that will burn off. If you're using cheaper quality, and I hate to say people from Kingsford are going to hate me, but if you use the Kingsford in here, there's a lot of stuff that comes out of that stuff. So you can see down there the burn grade on there, and then we'll pull it out and give you a look at it. But that's what it looks like. They've got, and I tell you what, let's take a look at what they've got down inside of there for fire protection. All right, down at the firebox for the Masterbuilt, they've got, and it's actually covered with metal like this. And the metal on mine is burnt away and warped in there. And they Masterbuilt has said that this is sacrificial, that they just put that to hold this in place. And this is a brittle kind of product. I'm really not sure what it is, but they call it a wear product. And as the longer you use it, the more this wears away. And I actually did. You're wondering where I got this from. I ordered a replacement kit just in case I needed it. And it comes with all this, and you can re-slide it in there. There's a whole lot of people that spend a lot of money, and there's some people making some pretty good money selling liners, stainless steel liners to put in your Masterbuilt. All right, so this was another wow moment for me when I was assembling or unboxing the Char-Griller when I saw this. So this is your charcoal hopper, and it is, they're calling it triple lined, and in a sense it is. But you've got a removable porcelain enamel coated on both sides firebox here, or charcoal hopper, and it actually comes out. And I'll leave it down right here so you can see it. But this thing is massive, and this is that's where your fire happens. So that is let's see if I can get that out of there. So that's where the fire happens. That's heavy duty, nice and thick, and that right there, that's where you put your fire starter, and then you light it from underneath. And these are fire brick. I honestly, folks, this is just a better design. This is right here. This little piece right here is built to last. Let's see if I can do this on camera. And then it just slides back in. These baffles go toward the grill, and it goes right back in, just like that. Pretty cool. All right, there's the charcoal grate on the Masterbuilt. Mine is warped a little bit. That is stainless steel. It gets really hot there. They're designed in these little rods you see here. I added those, and a lot of us have done that. That's just a stainless steel rod I put in there just to help, because these slots are so big that we were getting half chunks of charcoal falling through and just not burning. So a lot of us did a little mod like that, just to try and keep things in there. And on the Char-Griller also, you can see that's, on the Masterbuilt, that's where you put your fire starter, and then you light it, and it lights your charcoal. It works, but you got to do a mod to make it work better. Both grills have safety switches right here on upper door, lower door. On the Masterbuilt, it also has it on the grill door, and all that does on the charcoal hopper, it doesn't allow the fan to be on when you've got these over. That would be like a flamethrower coming out of there. Same thing for the Masterbuilt. And on the door, I'm not sure what it does. A lot of people have disconnected it. At first, they were shutting off. It would shut off the fan, but I've noticed that my fan runs when that's open. So I don't think it lets it go to full throttle on the fan. All right, let's talk vents. This is the 560 for the Masterbuilt, and I built this as a mod, but there's a slot or open slot back in there that's the wind and rain and snowing. So I did that. Their other two models have resolved this, where they've incorporated it in up here, part of the door, and it seems to have resolved the issue. So a nice job by Masterbuilt there. On the Char-Griller, this thing right here is your vent, and it is adjustable. So right now it's closed, and that's open, and that'll keep rain, wind, and snow from going in there. So nicely done. So talking about the cooking chambers, they are both double-walled cooking chambers, both the Masterbuilt and the Char-Griller, including the door. The door is double-walled, so that'll make it more efficient, and it'll hold that heat better. Especially, I'm in the Midwest, so it works just fine in the winter. Wheels and casters are pretty much the same on both, and they both have a bottom shelf. All right, folks, I'm sure I forgot a bunch of stuff. Ask your questions down below in the comments. In fact, I think this next week I'll do a separate video, questions asked, questions answered, so we can get them all out there and answer them all. Which one would I choose? Based on build quality, based on price, yeah, I'd go with the Char-Griller any day of the week. Time will tell. Remember, this is a brand new market, so brand new piece of equipment. Time will tell. I was so excited about this grill because what it does, it brings competition into the market. And competition always drives innovation. And I can't wait to see who else is going to come up with a Gravity Series, because I'm going to be right here to review it for you. But Masterbuilt, kudos to you for coming up with the concept, really. I mean, I called this a game changer last year in barbecue, and I still believe it is a game changer. And all they got to do is a couple little tweaks there, and they'll be just as good as the Char-Griller. And you know what? Chances are they'll come up with some stuff that'll make it even better at some point than the Char-Griller. So for right now, it's 2021. My choice between the Gravity Series, Char-Griller. Char-Griller all the way. Better quality, better build. They both can cook. If you're looking for, hey, Tom, which one cooks better? They both cook the same. They both burn charcoal. They both give great smoke rings. They both do a great job. When it comes to longevity and price, it's right there. So, folks, I hope this was helpful. Thumbs up. Leave a comment. I know you will. And, folks, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tom Horseman at YouTube. Boy, I really appreciate you watching. Thank you.